And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Put your thumbs up and say it's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, Tickety Boo, everything's Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo, son. Tickety Boo.
Tickety Boo.
Welcome to Tickety Boo, the podcast with unscripted conversations from people who've lived it. I'm Andy Griffiths, and alongside Iona Russell and Ian Young, we're three working therapists, but more than that, we're three humans trying to make sense of life just like everyone else. In each episode, we talk honestly about our own experiences with mental health, relationships, fear, growth, all the stuff we always don't say out loud. Certainly not here to fix you, we're here to make you feel less alone and maybe give you a few things that you could think about along the way. And in today's episode, we have no idea what we're talking about because yet again, one of us will be pulling a question card at random, no prepped, no script, got no idea where it's going. This one normally delivers a surprise. So Ian, you're on the cards. Where are we going this week?
Tell me when to stop.
Stop.
Oh, okay. Today we have, what's your top priority for the remainder of the year?
Oh,
Ooh.
okay. Yeah, who wants to go first?
You go first.
Oh, right, okay. Top priority for the rest of the year. I don't think it's so much for the rest of the year. It's been one that I've been constantly trying to pull into my life throughout the whole of the year, which is to simplify. I'm trying to... There's a lot of stuff in my life, all of my own doing, and I'm just trying to simplify things and make them as put in place systems that can be put in place because actually I've realised that rest and looking after myself is actually a much higher priority than I've placed other things
Isn't that the truth?
In my life, yeah.
Similar, but as you know, like I've taken a lot of time off recently just with everything that's been going on and, you know, fell to my knees, burnout. So I'm ensuring that I'm just doing projects and activities, things that nourish me, that inspire me, and also, again, not take on too many things and not do all the things, and so be better with my time.
I'm hearing the word simplify not been spoken, but
Yeah, and to be, and I don't like the word strategic, but yeah, it's like be really clear about what I do and don't want to do. As far
selective.
Yes, that's the word. Much better than strategic. Yeah, and I mean, I don't normally work on the weekends, but I spend a whole bunch of time making covers for like a video, like podcast, Substack and all that, making sure that from a business point of view that I'm being consistent with my message and what do I want to do after all the upset and turmoil. So yeah, being selective, simplifying and not doing all the things. And something that I really loved is, like, I remember a couple of episodes we talked about, like, you know, what would a silent retreat be like, or what would being quiet be like? Well, I was just on Iona Island with my son. It was just the two of us. We're actually both really quiet, and we were getting out for walks together every day and having a lot of quiet time. And so I'm going to be, and I was thinking of you guys as I was, you know, as we were in a lot of quiet, as it seemed that may be not something relaxing for you guys. But it was really lovely. And so making sure that I do more of that and meeting up with, you know, family, people that I want to go and do those quiet activities, but rather than just sitting at home and being quiet, like getting out.
what about you, Ian?
Survival. So at the moment I'm mid-project or coming into sort of the second half of a really big project in one of my other businesses. And I'm trying to learn from mistakes I've made in the past. Also trying not to drop any of the million things I'm juggling.
Right.
But so really at the moment my focus is just to get this project delivered so as I can have a bit of my own time back. Also, I'm trying to focus on, I'm very aware of some of the mistakes I've made in the past when I've been busy. And what's happened is I've kind of at some point neglected personal relationships or friendships and what have you that they're always there waiting, you know, they're good
sacrificed,
but they're just not nurtured in the way I should. And in the past I've done this I've become all focused on delivering this project and balancing and finances and all the other things. And then I go, oh, right, okay, it was a one-off thing. But me being me, 12 months later, I'm back in exactly the same situation. And I've realised that this is a reoccurring thing of just how my life is. It's kind of feast and famine. So when I'm busy, I'm trying to learn from my lessons and not neglect and keep space for the other things outside of that working side, because we get to the point where people, they get what I'm doing and they get why, but they're putting up with me, and I don't really want people to just be putting up with me.
I think that's the problem, isn't it? You know, I was talking about creating space and peace in my life, if that's the right word, because I spent way too much of my time in survival mode, where I was very reactive, and actually it took me a long time to take the lessons from those reactive survival periods and go, actually, I was actually a victim of my own methodology. I was creating the survival because at the time I thought I didn't know better, or this is just the way that it is. It was more of a case, I never really pressed the pause button to ponder on the lessons and really implement the learnings that have come out of them. So we just eat, sleep, repeat the cycles. And for me this year, it's kind of like I've got tired of that, and I need that now to change.
That's what I'm hearing. It's the peace element, making time for peace. So I was forced into a state of peace these last few months, and so I'm coming back. And so how am I going to maintain that peace? By being selective, by just making better choices. So it's that peace. So maybe what we're all striving for, and like it being in peace, is sort of almost the opposite of surviving. Remember we've talked about before about, you know, that being stuck in the cycle of being productive and continuously busy, that sort of whole being busy. And that's the one thing that I really took from a couple of weeks ago when I was away on my island, was it was that sense of peace and not having to do the things and choosing not to, because I could have. But I think maybe aren't we all seeking a sense of peace, and it can be different for all of us what that peace is.
I think it's that classic, you know, it's a really easy phrase to say, isn't it? Work smarter, not harder. But I'll give you an example. Today, you know, today we're sat here, we're recording the podcast. Now, this morning I've got up, I've picked Ian up from the airport. I was teaching yesterday, so I set up the podcast equipment, so I was trying to get ahead of the game. Now, old me, before I picked up Ian from the airport this morning, I would have seen a client. So I would have got up early, done all my prep, seen a client, finished the client, shut my laptop down, done all my work, rushed to the airport, picked Ian up, rushed back here, done this. But this morning I made sure, after teaching all weekend, I had a clear window this morning, so when I got up I had 3-4 hours before I needed to pick you up from the airport. And then I had a choice of what I wanted to do. And what I mean by that is, do I just want to sit there with a coffee and do nothing? Do I want to go for a walk? Do I want to do a bit of work? And actually what I ended up doing was, after walking the dog, sat there with a coffee and just casually went through my notes of what we were doing today and tweaked them, and then relaxed into my morning. And that's the changes that I'm making in my life. So I'm still doing everything I need to get done. I'm just doing it in a different way, if that kind of makes sense. And that takes forethought, forward planning. That's me being proactive in my choice making rather than reactive in my choice making.
And I think that's the crucial choice. How about for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, it's about managing my own expectations as well as, you know, if it was a client, I know I will manage their expectations.
100%.
And that's how I avoid stress and keep our relationship on keel. But with myself, I expect to be able to do everything all the time.
We talked about this, didn't we? You know, like in a therapy or a coaching session or even teaching, we will hold and create that space for a client, for a pupil, for a friend. We will do that to support, to nurture, to help. But we don't do it for ourselves. You know, we don't hold and create that space for what we need to move forwards. It's a lot easier to help create that for somebody else. But actually, it's something we need to get better at as people, as coaches, as teachers, to do that.
Yeah, agreed. So, sort of going with the question, like what we're saying, for me, trying to put into what I said a minute ago into better words is basically what I don't want is for my personal life to follow the peaks and troughs of my work life. I want to maintain a fairly steady status quo. So don't get me wrong, my work life is absolutely bonkers, but most of the time I like it because it's productive bonkers. But it is peaks and troughs, it is feast and famine. And I just don't want the relationships and the really important stuff, which are the reasons why I do what I do, to follow those same peaks and troughs.
Well, here's a
damaging.
question off the back of a post I put out on social media the other day. If your life at the moment was a Netflix documentary and the audience were watching, what would they be shouting at you right now, Ian?
Someone could have had a car crash.
What would they be observing going, don't do that, don't go there? You know, what do you think they would be saying?
I think that this is going to sound really arrogant. I think they'd be fairly encouraging because, like I says, it is fast paced, but it is.
But what about those that were watching, that were tuning into the personal element of friends, family?
Oh no, that would be. Don't listen.
Right. Yeah.
You know, think about what they've just said.
But
because
I mean, obviously, I have insight and I know you, but part of me feels like, would the audience be going, Ian, look after yourself?
yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Certainly at times, I sit here and I keep saying, "Oh, I've got wonderful friendships and wonderful family," but I'm no different to anybody else.
Yeah.
I did hit one hell of a low at the start of the year. I burnt out.
Yeah.
Everything was going very wrong, and even the optimistic side of me was starting to not see the way through.
Yeah.
And one of them is I stopped looking after myself. Those people that I'm talking about having consistency with, they're the ones that sort of see you through and prop you up.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when you've got a project on, or you're trying to get across the line, whether we call it survival phase or not, or the sprint, I think that's part of human life. It's when the sprint just turns into a marathon, but it's not a 26-mile marathon. It is the finish line is not defined type marathon, and you're always running. I did it the other week. I had a load of work on. I had a load of stuff I needed to get done, and I got to the end of the working day, and I was like, I felt like I've not achieved much. I've been busy, but I've not got anything done that I wanted to do, and I was tired, and I headed off to bed. I was getting ready for bed, and I didn't feel like I was ready to sleep. And then part of me went, well, if that's the case, it's quiet now, the phone's not ringing, nobody wants you, work. And I literally worked from about 10 till 1:30 in the morning and got about 2 days worth of work done. Now, the next day I was really, really tired, but actually the feeling getting up going, that's done, really helped me move forwards. But if I was to start doing that every day in my life, which I have, not every day, but it was a heavy majority of my life, that leads me into anxiety, into overwhelm, into burnout. And actually what we do is we just keep flinging more stuff on, and the wheel gets quicker and quicker, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's that ability to be able to step out and step back in.
Definitely, and I've learned when the times when I'm most productive, and also when I prefer to go to the gym, is like, so I want to get like everything that uses brain power, physical power. It's like I'm a morning person. Didn't used to be. Now, if I end up caught, like I don't like going to the gym in the evening because then I'm too awake. But I've also worked out that when I used to do suddenly I've shared before, I'm pulling like a 15-hour day. I'm like working on my writing and creating and stuff. And my son has told me it's time for you to go to bed. Mum, this is ridiculous. But I end up, and I have to be really careful. It's really easy for me to end up down that hyper-focus funnel, but also I then go into I'm on it, like I'm being super productive. Now, my stepdad, he was a musician, and he used to get up like 4 a.m. because he found that his most productive time. So it's trying to balance that. I'd rather get up super early because then I can get more done. Maybe I have to go for a wee nap. Nothing wrong with that. But it's knowing when I'm most productive because, as you say, we can get in 2 hours so much done if it's at the right time. And
No
it's-
distractions.
No distractions.
Yeah, phones ringing, people
Yeah.
coming in the room. Yeah.
My
yeah.
ex-husband used to go into work to be there for like 5:30 in the morning because he would get more done before everybody else showed up than he would in the entire work day because people would be constantly coming in and asking him questions.
Yeah.
So he just adjusted his schedule so that was actually suited him.
I don't like doing it, but if I got up at say 5 in the morning and work till 6:30, it's like my hour and a half of power. I can get so much done in that time because the phone's not ringing, the email's not going. You know, the world hasn't started up yet.
Yeah.
I don't seize that opportunity enough. But what that does do, if I do that, it gives me so much space back.
Space.
in
And
my
that's
life.
that sense of peace.
Well, part of me then goes, oh, we've got to get up at 5 and it's warm in bed and you want to stay in bed. But there's a trade-off, isn't there?
Yeah.
But, I think it's a great card pull and it's a great question. What is your priority? And I think for a lot of people, stepping out of the hustle, the grind, moving forwards in life.
Or with me, rebalancing. Just making
Rebalance,
sure
yeah.
it just keeps balance.
Well-
Because I've got some wonderful relationships and friendships, some that I've sort of let wane a bit while I've been, but all the really important ones are still there. And that's why
Could have
this
time to
time
water the
I've just
garden.
like, no, not again. So it's not just finding time for me, it's finding time for the people I care about. So for me, my priority is balance.
Yeah, that's a really good answer.
I'll tell you something about hustle. The only thing that should be grinding is our coffee grinder.
Oh, that's doing overtime.
We're going back to my dancing again.
Right. Well, as always, that brings an end to this episode. As always, thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you in the next episode of Tickety Boo.
If you or someone close to you needs to access mental health support, please contact your GP, or if it's out with normal office hours, get in touch with NHS 24 on 111. Alternatively, contact the Samaritans on 116 123. All calls are free of charge from any phone. You can also find more support information on the Tickety Boo website, ticketyboopodcast.co.uk.